with Bobby Slowick and this offense at CJ's accuracy, CJ Stroud is hopefully going to be a very, very good pick for this team. And be it that the ownership had to have a quarterback, be it that they did it for the fan base, be it that they did it to make a splash, be it they did it to sell tickets, all of these things. In your mind, CJ Stroud was the right pick, right?
Yeah, because well, first of all, it matches up with my grades. I mean, what I had. I mean, I have to stay true to my grades. Now, like I said, I never get to interview anybody. I don't know the personality traits. I don't know the mental makeup. I don't get to know that stuff necessarily. But from a football standpoint, if you just knew football and that's all you know, your question was, man, he's not, it was a little inconsistent with this and that. But then you look at Georgia, and against the very best competition, he started moving around the pocket better. He started using his feet more, which is a big concern for me, is why isn't this guy running a little more? Like, he didn't ever pull it on zone read stuff. But when he did start to move more, I saw him go through progressions in the Georgia game. I saw him, which is something that they kill Ohio State quarterbacks on, but I saw him get through progressions, extend plays, make throws on the move, which is not his strength, but he made throws on the move, and he's very accurate. And I just think in this offense, Levis and Richardson don't fit for this offense. They just don't fit because they're not naturally accurate enough. Only two guys fit, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. And so, yeah, from a football standpoint, John, to me, there's no problem with this. Now, there's some ancillary things that I have to take in that make me a little bit like I'm not all the way on board from a standpoint of like jumping for joy, just because I know certain things that concern me a little bit. But from a football standpoint, you love this. Now, they basically said clearly, I think, find the I don't know if we have this. Is Sean back there?
Yeah, Sean's there.
Sean, find the Adam Schefter tweet, or the Adam Schefter sound where he said, I'm hearing that CJ Stroud is going to be the second pick, but it's very confusing because there's still people in that building that believe that Will Anderson is going to be the second pick. So there's something that happened in the building, I believe, that made CJ Stroud the late pick. And whether he went 3 or 2, that's just something for people to get to say, ooh, you were right or you were wrong. The reality is that Will Anderson, I think, was going to be the pick, and then at some point later in the process, it was C.J. Stroud. That does feel like ownership may have stepped in, which also, if that's the case, John, and you think that could be the case too, that just shows you that David Mulgetta's presence as the agent for C.J. Stroud was not a factor in this decision.
Well, not a factor. I'm sure that there was a – listen, it's not like this all just happened. Oh, my God, we just took C.J. Stroud. Now, wait, let's go get Will. They've been planning this, okay, for a while, and they've been talking about this.
It was one of the contingencies. Yeah, it was a contingency they talked about.
Listen, and we might not be able to get him, but I'm sure that they talked to Arizona before. I'm sure that hey, what does that look like, that number 3 pick or whatever, but doing it in a way, and maybe they just got the compensation down last night or whatever the case may be. But this is not just flippantly off. Oh, let's just go try to get Will Anderson now. No, they've been talking about this in a bit. There was just a lot of discussions in that building for a while now. It's been 4 months. What are we going to do? Who are we going to take? I want a quarterback. Let's get the quarterback. Let's make sure that we walk out of there with that quarterback. And D'Amico, you want Will Anderson? We'll go get him too. All of those things, I'm sure happen. You don't just all of a sudden, hey, what about Will Anderson now? No.
Okay.
This has been thought out.
No, but I will tell you, if you had drafted Will Anderson first and taken your chance, here's what would have happened. Probably Tennessee comes up to 3 and gets him. However, if they don't and Arizona sticks with Paris Johnson, I put Paris, I got 7 of my first 10 in the mock right because I projected some trade-ups. I didn't want to put Paris Johnson 3. That felt too early, but it felt like the right pick for Arizona. If they had sat there and picked him, Ballard was not taking C.J. Stroud. I got to text with him. It was Anthony Richardson was always going to be his pick. What would have happened was C.J. Stroud would have gone to 5th, and the Houston Texans could have moved to 5th and gotten him. But guess what? You're in another bidding war because there's no chance that another team's not coming up there because there's only 2. while Ballard and Indianapolis loved Anthony Richardson, there was only two quarterbacks that are, ready to go right now, guys. And you already saw Will Levis didn't even get drafted in the first round, didn't even get taken in the first round. And
No,
guess what? He's going to fall in the second round too. It's hard finding a spot for him in the second. I ended up giving him to, I think I gave him to, I don't even know where I put him actually. I can't remember. I did my
that was the Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, that moment where he kind of looked with his eyes like, oh, I don't know, and his mom came and hugged him a little bit. That was the Aaron Rodgers and Geno Smith moments for Will Levis last night. And listen, Hendon Hooker is still out there as well. We'll see how this all plays out.
Yeah, I mean, the champion could go ahead of him.
So Arizona, talking about compensation, Arizona went back up to 6 from 12. And you know what they gave up? They gave up the Texans. They gave up the Texans' second-round pick to do that. So they moved up 6 spots and only gave up that second-round pick.
Now, the Texans told D'Amico Ryans, we're going to get your guy. Let's do Stroud. We'll get your guy. And it cost him. And it also cost him because the quarterback was – there's only 2 quarterbacks that most people viewed as like I said, kind of – they're in a tier ahead of Richardson and Levis. They just were. No matter where Richardson went, the perception was these 2 guys are in a much higher tier than the other 2 guys. And Arizona leveraged Houston into it. I mean, Houston's on the clock. They didn't get a deal done before the draft. It would have been cheaper to get a deal done before the draft. That's how you do. If you want to control the draft, you get the deal done before the draft. And they didn't do that, which tells me that it is a late decision to go Stroud to and then Anderson. Because I know Anderson was kind of locked in. So if you wanted to control this, John, and not get leveraged while you're on the clock and you have no leverage, you would have gotten the deal done in advance. You would have said, hey, we're going to trade up to 3 before the draft, and this is our plan. We're going to get Stroud and Anderson, and we're good. But you didn't have that plan in advance, not set, that's for sure, because you didn't make the trade in advance when you had a little bit more leverage without being on the clock. So once you wait until you're on the clock, it's all Arizona, and they were able to. And Arizona knew they'd seen Will Anderson in all the mock drafts at number 2. They'd seen him late become a number 2 pick for everyone, and they knew you wanted Will Anderson, and they were going to make you pay, and that's what happened.
Did.
But John, from a football, I understand all the.
Yeah, no, from a football standpoint, I'm thrilled to have Will Anderson. Listen, and the Texans I'm thrilled to have Will Anderson. I'm thrilled to have C.J. Stroud. Thrilled. But
you like C.J. Stroud's size over Bryce Young?
Yeah. No, who doesn't? How can you not? I mean, all of those things. He's accurate down the field. C.J. Stroud is hopefully going to be great here, and Will Anderson hopefully is going to be great here. It's just there's so many holes, so many things. Listen, let's hope this all works out. I hope it all works out for the best. I really do. I don't know that I'm just going to throw picks just because I got to have. I don't know. I just wouldn't do it. But you know what? The fan base is happy. We'll see. Let's see. But making fan bases happy ain't the goal. The goal is not to make fan bases happy. The goal is to win football games.
Always.
Always. And we'll find out whether or not this is the way to build them.